Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Chicago Business Podcast, where we introduce leading executives in the area and learn about how innovation is changing their businesses. I am your host, Drew Sekula, and today we welcome Melissa Kehl, owner and president of Rieke Office Interiors, headquartered in Elgin, also known as ROI. ROI designs and manufactures custom office furniture, building an 8-figure business over 25 years. Hello, Melissa. Thank you very, very much for joining us this afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Happy to have you on and to learn about you and your business. So,
Great, excited to be here.
yeah, great. So we'll start off with the quick icebreaker, the beverage of the day. So today we are drinking the company Kool-Aid.
I love it. I love it. So that's my favorite drink for two reasons. One is my grandmother used to make me cherry Kool-Aid when I was a kid all the time. And she actually is still alive, and she's actually watching my granddaughter now. And I go to her house to visit while she's watching my granddaughter, and she has been making me cherry Kool-Aid again. It is the funniest thing. She hasn't made me cherry Kool-Aid in 20 years, but she's making it for me again, and it's been just nostalgia, funny craziness that she's loving to make it for me every week now.
That's awesome. Yeah, it brought back memories when I went into the store. I'm like, I wonder if they'll have that just at the Jewel down the corner. Of course they must, right? And it took me a little while to find the powdered packet, but I did. I didn't make the full 2 quarts though, although I don't know. We'll be talking with the kids about that later tonight. Maybe we'll make some Kool-Aid popsicles or something. But it's just the way I remember. Well, not quite the way I remember. I think I went a little too easy on the sugar.
Okay. Full-blown sugar, so it's still the same.
Yeah, no, but that's some good old memories there. So maybe if we could start with you providing maybe like a 30,000 foot view of company background information, just a quick overview, and then we can start diving in.
Perfect. So we started out, we're going into our 27th year, and started out in used office furniture, then refurbishing office furniture, then manufacturing our own line of furniture, into custom. We're constantly trying to innovate and what's the next thing we can do, what's the next resource we can be to our customers. So 18 years ago, we started flooring. 6 years ago, we added in vertical interior design, which is our design company within inside of our company. So now you can come to us from the very, very beginning, architectural drawings, all the way through our install team for all of your office needs. And now even, there's the next, we're always adding new things. What do our customers need? Now the whole lines have been blurred between working from home and working in the office. So now we have added full interior residential design as well, and offering that service. So now no matter where you live or spend your time, whether you work at home, work in the office, live at home, live in your office, some people do, we can provide all of the services for you from beginning to end, one source.
Wow, yeah, that's quite the business that's developed over the years. You guys have a big location there in Elgin. Did I read that right? 150,000 square feet?
Yes. So we manufacture all of the furniture right here on site. And we have CNC machines, edge banders, big warehouse full of raw materials, and we do all the cutting and assembly and out the door with our big trucks and right to your location to install.
Wow. So do you do it all?
Oh, sorry. We love when people come to visit us. So if anybody's not afraid of COVID, or when COVID's over, come visit us, because I love to give people tours. I can tell people we do have an inspiring space. We better, since that's our job. But if you come out to see us, even if you don't, use us, I promise you will leave inspired if you come out and get a tour.
Yeah, I was
So
looking at some of the pictures of the showroom. That's pretty amazing. Some of the setups that you have there.
thank you. Yeah, we pride ourselves on being custom. We're not a catalog company. We have true craftsmen, in the back who, can build stuff from scratch and really wall to wall. If you have a odd shaped space, if you have a bunch of columns in your space, no matter what you have, we can work around that.
Right. So is all of your work built to order then, or do you maintain
No
inventory as
inventory.
well?
Yeah, because we basically have 13 standard colors that you can choose from that we have in stock, or any color laminate under the sun. We have availability to, so it's all built to your specific job.
Hmm.
So
Nice. And then you also do uh, chairs, and so it's not just the desk and the partitions, but
right,
it's
we
it's
handle
the
the
full
whole
front.
process. So really, if we don't manufacture it, we have a vendor for it. So it's all just one source that you have to go through. We handle all of the designing of it, measuring of it, installing of it, whether it's ceilings, lightings, walls, floor, all the furniture, everything in between, accessories, artwork, the whole 9 yards. Literally, from if you give us a raw space, at the end, you will be completely done, including wall coverings, window treatments, accessories, artwork, everything will be done, ready to go.
So you have the designers on your set. Who are the people that you're working with then? It's the owners of the businesses and
Yeah, most of the time,
um,
the owners of the businesses, facilities managers in, like, bigger corporate offices. We do a lot of manufacturing. We're a member of, like, the Manufacturers Association. We get a lot of, business through them, where they're, upgrading their space, or, so we can do, that's the other cool thing, any industry, medical, automotive, corporate, manufacturing, industrial, it doesn't matter. If you have an office, we can do it. And now if you have a home, we can do it.
nice. What is your what kind of staff situation? So you have designers and you have like,
Yes, we have,
how big of a company is it?
well, pre-COVID, we were 100 people.
Hmm.
Post-COVID, we're probably down to 65 people right now, unfortunately. So that was, a big hit, but you have to keep the, company going because we have 65 families that we need to feed. So it's super important to make sure you stay healthy individually, healthy as a company as well. And really, forward think through that. But yeah, so we have designers, not architects, I'm sorry, designers, engineers, craftsmen, programmers, installers, salespeople. We have all of our own salespeople, our executive team, human resources. So the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
Person.
Right. Cool. Well, maybe now's a good time to take a step back and find out a little bit about your origin story, and hear how you made your way into the business. So, but yeah, are you a Chicago native?
I am. So, and I, grew up in this area, in the Elgin area. Moved away for a few years to Colorado, and then came back, but that was as a kid. So I've been in this general area most of my whole life. So that part's interesting. I started here 23 years ago. Before that, I'm a CPA by trade, so I'm really an accountant. How and why, I have no idea.
You and me both, actually.
Yeah. Now that I'm out of it, I'm like, whoo, what was I thinking? Now I have a CFO, which is great that I'm out of those duties now. But and then so I did start out as the CFO here, and then worked my way up into the president, the sales manager. Got rid of my CFO duties 3 years ago, which was great. And now now I bought out my partner, so I became partial owner 10 years ago. Bought out my partner a year and a half ago. And so now it's just like it was always my baby. I mean, not on paper. It just was, I treated it like it was my company, then became my company. Um, and now we're just, really trying to work towards, okay, what's our next thing? We're a relationship-based company. We have no territories for our salespeople, and it's all about our relationships with our customers. We have a lifetime warranty on our product. We want to be there with our customers from, small. We had last year a company that bought from us 20 years ago, used furniture, bought 2 floors of furniture last year from us. It's super exciting to see a company grow from 10 employees to 200 employees. And be with us along the way, because that's really what we want to be. We want to be with companies, their lifetime partner, not just transactional. You can buy office furniture from anybody. We pride ourselves on being a holistic approach of full design. Really, what are you looking to get out of your space? Don't just plop furniture in there. How can your space help your culture? How can your space help your employees? That was the other thing that we did when the whole pandemic started was, I don't know if you can see, but we had put these plexi, if you can see this plexi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we developed a line of PPE products for the office. So in a conference room, workstations, reception area, private offices, conference rooms, to make people feel safe. So yeah, people have to still wear their masks because that's mandated, but it adds added protection between people. So that's been wonderful for us of helping companies get back to the office. So
Did that also allow you, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, but did that allow you to stay open as an essential business?
yeah, that was the thing that happened. We closed down for 3 solid weeks. I had nobody working at all. Our whole building was completely shut down. Manufacturing was shut down. And then when we developed this line, which was great, I have an amazing, amazing team of employees. In 1 week from the idea that we came up with to have this new product to launch, we launched it in 1 week. Prototypes, pricing, marketing, landing page for our website, all of it done. Pricing, the naming convention, how we were going to manufacture it. We were working 18 hours a day, almost the 7 days a week, but got it launched and got an order our first day that we launched the new product. And we got to bring 100% of manufacturing back, which was super exciting for us, because as a business owner, it's very tough to make those hard decisions. You have to keep the company going no matter what hard decisions you make, because if you don't keep the company going, you don't have a company for any employee, to be able to come back to during these tough times. So, but yeah, that was super exciting that we were able to do that. And it even opened us up into different states. Now, we were in like 14 different states. Now we're in 25 different states, or at least have customers in 25 different states now because of this.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite the presence you guys have there. And have you noticed other changes with your customers? Are they asking to reconfigure or try to spread people out more as well? Are you getting involved in a lot of that work?
On the design side, it's been more of the personal protection, because this stuff works really well. It helps with soundproofing, which is very weird. We didn't realize that until after the fact. We didn't realize I help with that. And so mostly that. And then a lot of companies right now are just staggering their workforce. Some people coming in on this day, some people coming in on that days. But I'm a firm believer that we need to get back to the office as soon as we can. We're losing culture. It's very hard to have your culture that you worked really hard to build in some of these, companies, to people being separated. When you're working from home, it's great. It's a great, benefit to be able to work from home. But when you work from home all the time, you can lose your connection with the company. And if you're just working from home and you don't have that connection with the company, you could go work anywhere. So then where are you could end up losing employees, because if they're just working from home, they can go work anywhere.
Right. Yeah. So what are you guys doing as a company in terms of remote work at this point?
Right now, we're just doing the 1 day a week. And then we do have people separated out. So we don't have anybody within 6 feet of each other. We have these plexi partitions every single place in our conference room. Actually, we have them in manufacturing in certain areas if we can't get people far enough apart, if they have to work too close together. Obviously, we're wearing our masks, and and we have the ability, not obviously in manufacturing, you can't work from home when you're manufacturing, but or installing at a company. But the front office does have, if a child got sick or if somebody, got sick and they needed to work from home, we do offer that. We're really all about, like I said, about the relationships with our customers, relationships with our vendors, but relationships with our employees. It's very important to us as a company to have our employees fulfill their life, not just at work, but at home. Because if you can fulfill, your work should be a vehicle for all of your successes in life. It shouldn't be your only, thing. You shouldn't become a workaholic. But you should be able to hopefully have your work help you achieve your personal goals at home as well.
Yep, definitely. It's a very important component that most of us spend the majority of our lives doing, but it's not necessarily, the most important thing when you figure out health. And everybody's had such an inward focus here recently. It has it challenging everything, but critically important to obviously keep the food on the table too. So.
Right.
That's it's commendable in terms of how you've had to work there to navigate through the hard times, and I think that those connections to the customers also are very. It seems like you're. That's one of your differentiating factors are those relationships, because I would think the office furniture generally is a very competitive business, right? But to differentiate yourself, like what are some of the ways that you do it besides the relationships? And then
Yeah, so definitely the relationships, and then trying to be a resource all the way from the beginning. We actually have this sheet that says it would have been nice to know yesterday. It's a checklist that we give out to people if they're planning on moving or doing a renovation, because you can save money if you have a bunch of information up front. Most of the time when people are moving or upgrading their space, they do this once in their lifetime in a business, or they've only done it once or twice. They have a full-time job that they need to be working on. So we try to be a resource right from the beginning, whether we're selling it or not, but just giving advice up front. Like, did you think about this? What about this? Because a lot of times if you don't think about those things up front, they cost you more money in the end. And then we're like, oh, if you would have just called us first, we could have helped you, talk through that, or, just be a resource for them in the beginning. Did you put the electrical in the right spot? Are you going to do, key fobs? Okay, how are you going to do your key fobs? We don't even sell that, or we don't even do anything with any of that electrical or key fobs, but we've been through enough moves, renovations, helping people that we know pretty much all the information from all the trades, because we're the last person in. So we're the ones that see all the mistakes that happen all along. If you can work at the end, like that's what a lot of people don't pay attention to. Oh, we're just going to throw furniture in, we're going to throw electrical, we're going to do this, we're going to put this lighting, we're going to do this. Okay, well, did you think of it as a holistic approach from the end? What do you want your space to feel like, look like? What do you want the flow? How do you want, your employees to feel? Do you have a reception area? Is that make sense to even spend money on a reception area? Should you spend money on a lounge for your employees because you don't really have customers that come into your space? But whatever it is, thinking about the end in mind first and then working backwards, we can help people save money putting electrical in the right spots, or just giving them advice for, because that's what you hear a lot. Oh, that would have been nice to know yesterday. That would have saved me money if I'd have known that. That would have saved me money if we would have known that. So we like being a resource, all the way from the beginning to help people all along the way.
Yeah, it seems like it's critical just getting engaged, early on though. I guess
Right.
that's the the
That's the thing.
secret sauce a little bit, right?
Furniture. Yeah, I don't need furniture to the end. It's like, no, 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 start with that because every decision you make is going to affect that along the way.
Well, it has such a big impact just in terms of how people communicate within the, within the environment and for
Right.
culture. It's funny that you can look at it as some of those things. That's only part of the expense in terms of the materials cost, right? When
Yeah.
you look at some of the value that can be created just by having those usable spaces where people interact, I can see how it
Yeah.
can make a big difference. So that's great. So for things like doing the measurements, then, like, are you guys taking your own measurements? I'm trying to figure out where the handoff is, and are you out there doing all of that with the customers, or you just get drawings and work off of that?
No, we always do in-person field measures. Even if we get the drawings, they do send us the drawings up front. We do space planning to make sure that everything's going to fit, that they can fit all their, employees that they want to fit, and we, work on workflow and all of that. But when we go to actually before we start manufacturing, we do a field measure on every job. We just make sure, because what happens is you get out there and, oh, there's a light switch in the way of where they're going to put something. Oh, there's fire, light in the wrong space, right where you were going to put something. So you can't find all those things inside of a drawing. Or, oh, their baseboard sticks out farther, and it's not going to fit. Oh, you're going to cover up an electrical outlet. So there are so many things that when you actually go out there that you can see, again, to try to save people money, of making sure that, oh, you didn't notice that, or make this decision earlier. The more you can plan and make your decisions earlier on those things, save you money and make the flow of the installation better too.
Really seems like a great partnership, because especially with you offering that lifetime warranty, seems like you got to stand behind what you're doing, and you're really holding their hand along the way. But at the end of the day, you really have a strong a product that you can be proud of.
Yeah, so no, we're really excited about that. And then the other thing sometimes too is that, like, somebody wants to refresh their space, and we can just do a couple other things. All of our stuff has a lifetime warranty on it, but maybe you just want an upgraded look. We could change the top of your, desk, or we can change a tack board color, or we can do different things just to do a refresh, and it's not going to cost you that much money. Most of the money is in the storage, so don't buy new storage. We can just, change things up a little bit. If you're 10, 15 years down the road, things change, like colors change, and you have to stay with the times in order to get, the proper employees, and, staying with the times. Because if you think about it, somebody's looking at two different jobs. They look at this job, they look at this job. Most of the time, pay for a job is the same, relatively same. Pay, benefits, different things like that. They could be off a little bit, but they're mostly generally the same for different positions. So if I go into this company and I see, wow, they have like a really nice space, and it looks like it gives off the image that they care about their employees, they're staying up with the times, they're in with it. Or if you go to this place and their stuff's from the 1980s, or 70s, some of these people weren't even born that are, going in for a job interview back in those days. What are they going to think? Which job are they going to take? If everything else is relatively the same, they're going to take the job of the space that looks nicer, because they spend a lot of time there, and because it shows that you care about your space for your employees, and it just shows that they're with the times. You need to be with a company that's with the times. If you don't stay with the times, we know companies that didn't stay with the times, and now they're out of business. I mean, if you look at Blockbuster, why would we ever thought Blockbuster was going to go out of business? They were on every street corner. They had all that real estate. They, did everything, but they didn't stay with the times. And now none of the millennials even know what Blockbuster is.
Yeah. So I agree with you that can make a big difference in terms of the impact. I think that also some furniture is timeless. You started in the used business. is that still part of what you guys do in some ways? Is that right? Or you
In
have a
some
separate
cases,
line?
yeah. So what we try to do is, if we can keep furniture out of the landfill, because it's going to go in the landfill if what is somebody going to do with it, so we will do trade-ins with our customers. So if they're getting new furniture, we will take their old furniture in for a trade-in, and there are certain uses that are good for those situations, because if you think about it with a space, if let's say you have 100 employees and 15 of them are salespeople, but they're hardly ever in this space, then maybe you do want to buy, some used workstations for the salespeople. Not saying that they're, less, deserving of nicer items, but maybe it makes more sense to spend money on a sit stand unit for the people that are in the office 8 to 10 hours a day. Salespeople who are in the office 1 hour a day, 5 hours a week, something like that. Well, maybe they don't need a sit stand desk, maybe they could use, a nice used workstation and spend your money where it matters. I'm still a CPA by heart, so I'm always like worried about people's, like, maybe don't spend money over there, maybe spend money over here, and like really getting a good value for where they're going to spend their money and spend it where it's actually going to mean something to their employees.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw you also offer some leasing and financing options as well for customers. How did those work
So
with you guys?
that's helpful. We work with a couple different leasing companies and banks where we, help them with the process of, getting that done. That's actually going to be really helpful. I would think that this year is that, and I'm really hoping people pay attention to any company who got the PPP money. All that money is taxable. So that's a huge thing. I hope everybody has an accountant. I hope the accountants are letting them know that they didn't just spend all their PPP money, because if they end up making a profit at the end of the year because of their PPP money, that's all taxable money. So a lot of times with leasing, that will help with a cash flow situation is on two ends. One, on this end, that, okay, it's going to be towards year end, maybe I can buy some office furniture right now, lease the office furniture so I don't have to use my cash right now. I can just spend over the next 3 to 5 years to pay for that furniture. But I get 100% of the tax write-off this year. So that can help with cash flow. It can help with during this PPP time if people are going to end up having to pay for the tax money on that. And then just having the leasing to be able to, cash is king in a business. So you don't want to spend all your cash, in one time. This furniture is going to last you forever. So, and at least for, 7-10 years, I mean, it will last you a lifetime if you wanted to, if you just don't move again or want to get new upgraded colors. And so if you lease it over a 3 to 5 year time frame, you're basically just spending the cash as you're using it. So it's a really good benefit for people to think about, of just keeping their cash and then just spending a monthly fee on the furniture instead of using all their money up front.
Right. I see that you guys are also a certified green company. What does that mean for you guys?
Yeah, so that has to do with our the wood that we purchased. So not all the wood, it just depends on, because it's obviously more expensive to buy the recycled wood. But when we buy the recycled wood, that helps with that. How we do the recycling of our fabric, and we also can help with LEED certification. Doesn't happen as much. It was like a really big thing like 10 years ago. You don't hear about it as much, where people are going for LEED certified buildings. Because we manufacture here locally and ship out locally and install locally, then you can get LEED points for your building from buying from us locally, that you can't get from other manufacturers because they're shipping their stuff in from other places.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard that those LEED programs were kind of falling out of favor a little bit. It's just because there's less construction, or what's the backstory on that? No?
not sure. I think maybe the way they structured it in the beginning didn't maybe flow through properly, or the people that were really pushing it before. And I think there were government like tax breaks and stuff, and I think the government's been changing some of that. So, and it's super expensive to do a LEED certified building. So I don't think they were seeing as big of a impact on their bottom line. And there were other ways that they could still do great for the environment, but not necessarily be LEED certified.
I understand.
Yeah.
What, how else does innovation kind of play within your space? Are there a lot of software programs used to do like augmented reality or anything, or virtual
Yeah,
reality
as
displays?
much of that because we're a custom and we don't have a catalog. So some of our competitors do have that where you can do a fly through of the space, and because they have standard product that's in a catalog, so it doesn't change each time. And with us, ours changes every time, wall to wall scenarios and stuff. But we do have cool rendering software that can show them, what it looks like at the end, and the space planning of it. Our laser measurer, which is amazing, when we used to have to do it all by hand, and now you go into a space with this, it goes around and does a full 3D measurement with all of the information, which is very nice for our programmers not to have to do that from scratch. And then even just some things in the back, if you think about like some of our manufacturing equipment, where now we have a contour edge bander. So when we used to do a round surface before, we'd have to do that by hand. Now we have a machine that puts the round edge banding on. Or we used to have two people have to put the board onto a CNC machine, and now we have a vacuum lift where it literally just, it's this piping that comes down from the ceiling. You put it on the board and it vacuum sucks the board up, and one guy can just pull the board over with zero effort. He doesn't have to lift, no hurting his back, anything like that. One guy can put it on the CNC machine with no back issues at all, compared to before, two people, and two people could hurt their back in that scenario. So
Yeah, those are important developments, and it's great that they're improving safety and productivity too, right? So, well, that's great. It seems like you've done some great things with the company. I know you've been recognized in some different publications as well for with some awards. Any that you'd like to highlight?
it's just been nice. The Daily Herald's done a few lately, and we've been able to do some donating of our safety shields to some different companies. We've done it to like the animal shelters and to like the homeless shelter in Chicago, Safe Haven, which is just one of my new favorite. I didn't know about them before, and we got an opportunity to donate some shields to them so that they could get some of their programs back up and running, where they're doing one-on-one counseling with some of the homeless people. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. I got to go out and do a tour of their facility, and they just take a holistic approach. They're like us, like we're taking a holistic approach on our design with people. They take a holistic approach on, it's not a homelessness problem. There's many problems that lead up to a homelessness problem. And they do a whole self-help, not just, oh, here's a bed for the evening. They work through a whole program of, here's a bed for now, here's help, here's how we can help you get a job, get off of drugs, education, psychiatry help, anything that they can help with to get the people back up on their feet and into their own housing. And even after they're in their own housing, they still help them, and they still work with them. It was super exciting. They're like my new favorite place to donate to right now. That's been fun. And they did a big article in the Enterprising Women on myself and Nellie, who is the one who runs the Safe Haven program in Chicago. It was pretty cool to be able to help them.
That's great. It's great to get involved in the community and to be recognized for that good work as well. Are there any particular mentors that you've had along the way that have kind of uh, helped you develop over time, or?
Yeah, so I was a member of Vistage for some years, and my chair leader, Bill Dermer, unfortunately has passed away. It was super sad, but this was years ago. So he was such a big help to me to get me from the transition of the numbers into people. The thing with numbers is there's always a right answer with numbers, you know, with math, there's always a right answer. With people, not so much. You just have to trial and error and work with people and figure out, and everybody's personality is different. But he really helped me become a better manager and transition from numbers into people. I had an amazing high school teacher. She's actually still my friend, that helped me, you know, a very long time ago, get me out of, I barely graduated high school. And she, you know, kind of picked me up under her wing and was like, okay, you're going to college. Okay, you're going to do this. And, you know, she kind of helped me get out of a bad family situation, you know, that I was in. That was a big help. Then I graduated from, you know, college with honors and you know, changed the trajectory of my life, you know, big time, definitely. Without her, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you've came out of that flying colors, and that's yeah, you've been with this company for a long time. It's great to see that you've been able to make your way through that organization and all the way up to the top and put yourself in a position. Or do you have other investors in it, or you're the full owner as
You
well?
never know. Well, actually, so this was something that was fun, that I was able to do. My design director, I just had her buy in 10% so that she could grow with us, because we're going places. I feel it. It's like we're going to get even bigger and better, and be able to help even more people. I'm super excited about it. And so I was excited to be able to offer her that opportunity to have some ownership. And so she's going to be growing the company with me, and we're gonna make it big with girl power.
There you go. There you go. Well, great to see you guys breaking through the glass ceilings and
Right,
and doing it. It's nice when you have the corner office too, right? Buck
right.
stops there. So
Yeah, yeah, all the way it does, you know, like sleepless nights and everything else, but
that's for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, to learn more, I'm sure website's a good place. So Rieke.com, Rieke.com. And I'll include links and stuff in the notes of the show. Anything else you'd like to highlight?
no, thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, great. It was, yeah, it's great to have you on. And thank you very much for your time and have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.